So, Kayla, I do have a very easy question to start us off. Are you happy?
Yes.
Yes. Oh.
So easy, but yet so hard at the same time. Yes.
I mean,
Do you believe me?
you say that so...
No, because I never fully know, I feel, unless like it's right in my face, you know, the feeling of being happy. I think day to day I feel, God, I don't know. I really don't know.
Really?
I know that sounds bad, but I don't know. I know I'm not like sad. Wait. Backtrack. Let me restart. I think I have a hard time labeling my emotions and recognizing what I'm feeling a lot of the times. And so it's hard for me to say like, oh, this is happiness that I'm feeling, unless, again, it's like right in my face. A lot of times I just don't know how to label what I'm feeling, which I don't know if you experienced that.
Yes. But also I feel like with the question, like, are you happy? I think we maybe don't give enough credit to ourselves because we have to think about the big picture. Like, big picture, am I happy? And maybe sometimes we just think too day to day, like, oh, I was a little sad yesterday, so maybe that means I'm sad. But I feel like if we take a longer view, at least for myself, okay, if I ask myself, like, am I happy? Yes, I think so. I think right now I am. There are days where I am sad, no fucking shit.
Of course.
But, you know, I think like in a month, let's do like a month, 2 months. Sure, I might be sad for like a week out of those 2 months, maybe 2 weeks if we're, you know, whatever. But I think like big picture, like, yes, I'm happy. So I think so. I think like I noticed I'm more happy than sad right now, more often than not, you know?
As of late.
Yes.
Okay, well, when you put it that way, I think generally, big picture, I've been happy. This past month, maybe not as happy.
Why?
But that's just because of like external things outside of my control, like that are just going on, you know, behind the scenes that are affecting me. And so it makes it harder to feel happy and be happy. But besides those external factors, yes, I am happy.
What are the things that you think affect your happiness the most?
I think the people around me affect my happiness. Like if the people that I love and care for are going through something that kind of rubs off on me, I hate saying that. You know what I mean? But it's true.
Like if they're just sad?
Like if somebody is going through a really hard time and it's somebody that I'm really close with, that rubs off on me because now I'm like constantly thinking about them.
Don't you also feel kind of guilty being happy when your friends are sad?
That's what I've been feeling recently, like this past month, where it's like it actually happened to me on my car ride over here.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I told my friend about it. But I've been going through a little bit of a harder month because things just pop up, you know, it's like out of my control. And we're going to be in New York over the summer, and that's so much to look forward to, you know, an amazing summer ahead. But recently I just haven't been feeling as excited about it. And I told you a little bit about that. And I think a big part of why I wasn't feeling excited about it because I was going to leave home. And so just new routines, you know, you don't have that stability, and also the feeling that you're letting people down by like leaving, you know, when they need you the most. And I'm like, can't. Like I can't, you know, that feeling you can't win in whatever situation that you're in.
You can't have it all?
You can't have it all.
And you want to have it all?
Who doesn't want to have it all? Jesus, I want to have it all. Yes, I want to be happy in all areas of my life. Sue me, kill me.
But also...
But I know that's not realistic.
So how do we cope with that?
well, let me finish my story. Anyways, yeah, so I wasn't really like looking forward to New York, but then in the car ride this morning, I was setting my intention for the day. So I was like putting, like upbeat music, like really trying to feel good about the day.
Feel happy, please. Oh, fuck, please feel happy. Fuck. Actually, like, if I switch up the song.
No, and it worked.
Yeah?
It worked because I was playing some like really just like summer type feeling songs.
Happy by Pharrell Williams.
Yes, that one.
Sorry.
And it worked. And I was like, wait, I'm really excited about summer. I don't know what it was, but like it was like a switch in me that in that moment I was like, wow, I'm really excited. Like it's gonna be such a fun time. That was followed immediately by guilt.
Fuck. God damn. I thought we were like.
No, I was so good.
I was so happy for you.
I was being so good. But then I was like, ooh, maybe I should like. I was like,
The voices.
no, the voices got to me. I was like,
voices.
wait, I have to remind myself why I was invited. Like, wait, like let me not be as happy. I guess Jesus. I'm like, okay, that sounds horrible, but I think a lot of times I struggle like with feeling happiness without guilt.
That is tough. That is tough. I'm surprised. Well, maybe not surprised that okay, I'm not surprised that listening to music that helped. Okay, because yes, both of us are spending the summer in New York, and I was feeling those same emotions of, work has been so much recently, and, even as we like rush to finish this and create GrownKid and have it be something we're proud of, which it is, it takes a lot of work. And, it's me and you building this, and there's a sense of pride in that. And even though it's been really stressful, I have found a lot of meaning and purpose in creating this because
Yes.
it feels like this is something that I want it to exist in the world. I feel like it's going to be good for people. But it also hasn't, I've been so absorbed in this thing that I want to create and put out in the world that I forget to think about all the other things that I'm also looking forward in my life and all the other things that bring me happiness. Like going to New York and spending the summer in another city is something that last summer, when we also spent it there, I was so excited and so happy. And it was like the best moment of my life. It was like the city that I've always dreamed of spending time in. And I was really lucky enough to have the opportunity to have saved up so I could actually afford to live there for a little bit. But this year I felt those same emotions of, damn, like I'm tired. I'm tired.
I'm tired.
There's things that I miss here. There's routines that I am enjoying here. And I don't want to mess it all up to go to this other place where I'm going to have to readjust. And for a minute, I was just not looking forward to it. I was like, I feel tired. I feel bad. I'm not that excited. But then I have these moments, and they keep happening, where I have these moments where I feel like I finally have time to reflect a little and kind of reframe my thinking. And the way that I try to reframe it is by telling myself, like, reminding myself everything good that happened last year and focusing on the good moments. Because I was, honestly, I was focusing on the bad ones. I was focusing on like having to adjust to routine and how like the negative emotions that I felt and like possibly being homesick. But then I'm like, wait, like, why am I focusing on these things? Like, no shit, if I focus on bad thoughts, I'm gonna feel bad. So I was like, okay, let me try to reframe. And I really forced myself to be like, what is there to look forward to? And I started thinking like, oh my God, there's this that I really enjoy. There's this, and the weather's gonna be nice, and the people and the music that I'm gonna be listening to, and it's gonna be summer. And there was just so much more to look forward to. And it's so funny that it fucking works. The shit people tell you to do when they're like, reframe your thinking. Like, yes, it worked. I remember getting this sense of like, I literally could almost feel like the endorphins like flowing out of me. And I think at one point I did tell you, I don't know what we were doing or where we were, but I was like, oh my God, Kayla, I'm so excited for summer. Like, I think it's actually gonna be really fun, and it's gonna be really fun to work on all these things that we're doing, and it's gonna be really nice. And that was when I was like, oh my God, I forgot what it felt like to look forward to it. That when it hit me, I was like, oh, this is nice. Mm-hmm. This is really nice.
No, I completely agree with the reframing it. And like, that's what I was doing in the car. And I also want to clarify, like, the things that are making me not as happy, it's not work. It's the things that are going on while work is also happening. if that makes sense. That just makes it harder. But yes, I am excited. And I think hearing our other friend that is also going to New York, he's really excited and he's been telling me. And I think the more that he brought it up, I was thinking, well, why am I not excited? Like, why am I the odd one out? Like, wait, I don't want to be weird. Like,
And I think maybe it helps when you focus on the things that you know bring you happiness and how you will find that there too. And I feel like this is a big point of this episode, is that happiness can be found anywhere in any situation, and it doesn't matter really a lot of times, like the circumstances you're in, as long as there's like a few key things, like, you know, humans are social creatures, and it's kind of, you know, like we said, one of the main keys of happiness are your community and your social life and your connections to others. And it's so funny because we hear that like friendships crucial to happiness. Doesn't really matter if you're poor or rich or whatever. If you're surrounded by loving friends and family, you can probably be happy. And in this example, it makes sense because when I think about what am I gonna find and what's gonna bring me joy when I move to this new city, like the thing that I focus on more are like the friends that I'm gonna see and the friends that I'm gonna be with and the people that are gonna surround me. And when I think of that, instantly, I feel so much happier. And so it has led me to really try to find those moments more in my life. Not just now, but even think ahead and try to almost like optimize to have more of that as I grow older. Like I think personally for me, I've always been very conscious of my relationships to people. And I went through a lot of times where I felt really lonely and alone and like I didn't have enough connections in my life that felt meaningful to me. And going through that, I think really engraved in me the importance of investing in friendships, first of all. And there's many more facets of happiness, but for now, I think one that I'm very conscious of is like my friends and the people you meet. And so even as we grow older and we turn like 30, 40, 70, that is something that I want to keep really prioritizing and going out of my way to like make sure I'm surrounded by good people and that I'm supporting them. Because happiness can be found anywhere. And it's really about the connections. I don't know. I had this moment too, just like the last thing on this is like I had this moment where, a lot of my extended family lives in Mexico. So I really here in the United States, I only have like my mom and my sister. Like really, that's the close family I have here. Everybody else is in Mexico. But thankfully, recently more than ever, like my grandma, my uncles, my aunts, they've been able to visit us and come stay with us a lot more often than before. And it's been really nice because, we'll all be there. And, we live in our little modest 2-bedroom apartment. Not like I have a huge house or anything. Maybe someday, hopefully. But there was this one specific moment that I thought was so sweet. Where it's a 2-bedroom apartment, we're trying to fit like 6 people in this bitch.
All too familiar.
Yes,
All too
because
familiar.
like where is everyone gonna sleep?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we have 2 beds in this one bed in this one.
Living room.
Yeah, my grandma and my grandpa can take my bedroom, my sister, my mom, and I don't know, someone else will sleep in theirs. And then me and my uncles will sleep, in the living room or something. And I remember we went to go buy like an inflatable mattress so they could like sleep on it while they were staying here. And we just bought like a random inflatable mattress and we inflated it. And as we were inflating it, we just realized like we got so happy because it just felt so like the mattress exceeded our expectations. It was like, oh my God, it has a headrest. It's huge. This fits so many people.
Is it the one that we used?
Yes. And like
it was a luxe
felt like a
mattress. Yeah.
Yes. And like, it's this $100 mattress. It's a fucking inflatable mattress. It's not like you're sleeping on a godly ass bed.
Yeah.
But in that moment, like, it's such a sweet memory to me because all of us got so excited over it. And we're like, oh my God, I want to sleep on that mattress. It was just like this like novelty. And I think part of what made that moment feel so sweet is that like, I remember thinking during that moment, like, oh my gosh, like it doesn't matter. Like it wouldn't really matter if this is a $20 mattress, a $50 or a $10,000 mattress. Like this happiness isn't something that changes in intensity over the monetary value of this item. And that was, I swear to God, it just felt like everything just clicked. Like, oh my God, like I can find happiness. Like it doesn't matter if I'm rich or poor or whatever. These like the little moments of just appreciating what you have and just like finding the good in things, like that happiness felt so genuine. And I was like, I have felt more happiness in this stupid ass moment where we just all got excited over a mattress because we don't have enough rooms to sleep in, that it felt more valuable than other times where I've gone on like luxury trips or got some incredible experience that didn't bring as much joy.
Exactly. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think I'm a lot more conscious of that when I go visit like home now. I'm so aware of the little moments that like I'll see like my mom get really happy about. Like if she makes like a really good batch of like cupcakes, like she just gets so happy about it, and like I get so happy about it. It's just, it really is the small things. But that inflatable mattress thing, it reminded me of car camping. Backstory, we went to Coachella. Can you tell we went to Coachella?
Surprise!
No, we went to Coachella and we car camped, and it was our first time car camping. And, you know, like I would hear mixed things about car camping. You know, like some people hate it, or a lot of people surprisingly were like, oh, I love car camping. Like the people there like just make it so much more fun. It's just like a nice environment, you know, cool vibe, whatever. And me personally, I didn't really care. Like if we were car camping or if we were staying at like some other place, like I was at Coachella regardless, you know, like Coachella is Coachella. But I do remember that, I remember specifically, I told this one person that I was like car camping, and they were like, oh my God, like, are you serious? Like it was like a disbelief, like you're car camping? Like there's no way that you're car camping. Like, oh my God, it's gonna be so hard. Like, you know, like you're gonna like be so dirty, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like you just killed my vibe. Like kill my vibe, please.
Yeah.
Like
just really pile on
literally
to
just
it.
really
Tell me why I shouldn't enjoy this.
No, exactly. And, you know, like I wasn't even feeling bad about car camping. I was just like, oh, this is just something that I'm going to do with my friends. And keep in mind, like, you know, it was us two plus like our other friend that we've all been super close since fucking like
middle school.
Since fucking like middle school. So I'm like, this is just going to be a fun time. Like, I'm just looking forward to this. And then once I told this person and they said that, I was like, damn, now I kind of feel like a piece of shit, you know, like, fuck me, I guess, insane. Like, you know, and I know that they didn't mean it that way. I think anyways, whatever. But it's just crazy that like you yourself can feel so content and like happy about certain things happening in your life, and then somebody will just like come in and just
try to tell you why you shouldn't enjoy this much.
Yes, why you shouldn't. And I'm like, why'd you have to do that? Yeah. Like what in your head prompted you to say these things and think that like, oh, this is gonna make this person feel better?
Yeah, it's like what? You see someone happy and your first reaction is to be like, well, here's why you shouldn't?
No, that's just insane to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But touching on friends too, I think it's a lot harder when you get older to be consistent and like reaching out, because, you know, like everybody has their own lives and whatnot. And that's something that I'm not looking forward to when I graduate, because everybody's, you know, gonna go elsewhere, and right now we live in the same house, so it's so easy. But I just think as you get older too, like making friends is so much harder when you don't have a place where like everybody is going to, you know, and so like it really just takes so much more effort. But recently, what I've thought about when you're talking about like what brings you happiness, like, you know, your friends and your family, I recently had a day where I was so happy. Like, I think that was like probably one of the happiest days of my life.
Wow, okay. Tell me about it.
You were there.
Oh, wow.
It was my birthday.
Oh, I like that.
And it's so crazy. Like, I've had plenty of happy days. Like, I've traveled, I've seen like amazing things, but I don't think anything topped that day. To give some backstory, it was my birthday. And, you know, I think a lot of people, they struggle with feeling excited for their birthday or looking forward to it. I think a lot of times it's just seen as like a dreadful thing and reminder of a lot of things, etc. But this year I I wasn't really thinking much of it. I think it was because I was also really busy. So
Okay.
I wasn't really like actively thinking about my birthday, which I think helped in the end. But really for my birthday, my friends and we just went to this huge park. It was huge park, trees
Really pretty
everywhere,
park.
wide fields, like hills. It was just amazing views. Everything was just perfect about this park. And we just played.
Yeah, actually just hung
We
out.
just played and hung out, and like nobody was on their phones. I remember one time we went to the restroom and we came back to like the picnic blanket, and nobody was there, and everybody had left their phones. And I was like, why would they leave their phones? But then I was like, wait, everybody left their phones. I was like, wait, no. I was like mad, but then I was like, wait, this is so cute.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I think just having that like carefree spirit and just playing around and exploring and just like climbing fucking trees, like everything was just so perfect about that day. And after that, I was thinking like, I need to do that more often. Like I just need to be out in nature with my friends more often.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
nature plays a huge part in like my mood too. I think whenever I'm like surrounded by like trees or just greenery,
Yeah.
immensely so much more happier. But
My
it's just
God,
hard.
that's so interesting because I think like not having a phone allows you to live in the present so much more.
It does.
And it's so nice. It's so nice. I think it's something that I want to try to do more of. And I hear, older generations talk about it, like back then there was no phones. Does that mean they were happier? Maybe. I think they just were able to be in the moment a lot more and process things differently, give themselves more time to think about what is good and also maybe what is bad. I think a thing that a lot of young people struggle with, like we said, is like purpose. You finding purpose and being able to have a feeling of knowing why you're doing it. And for so many of us, we don't know how to find that. And I honestly, this is my theory. I think part of it just is because we're not bored enough. We're not in the moment enough. And we think, like, no shit, you don't know why you're doing what you're doing if you never take time to think about it, because you're always like stimulating yourself with media and your phone and never actually taking time to just sit still and think. Because I realize that when I take time to just lay around, think about what I like about my life, what I like about what is happening, it helps a lot. And recently, I think I find myself at times losing my sense of purpose. And when I lose my sense of purpose, it's when I feel uneasy, sad, not happy at all, worried, anxious. Because as we were speaking about, we're relatively happy right now. At least for me, I feel like I'm doing well. I feel happy. I've been pretty happy these last couple of months. A big part of that is, like I said, because I feel like I'm working on something that is aligned with my purpose and what I think is meaningful, which for me is helping young people feel less alone. And what I like about that is that it's a very broad, like, why, this idea of finding your why. It's very broad for me. And I didn't actually notice this is what it was until someone pointed it out to me. I was talking with Dr. Alice, who is one of my mentors, of course. And she is, she's an older person. She's a successful, she's just very successful, has made shows, worked on shows, made fucking Blue's Clues. So just amazing person. There's this woman who has found her purpose in helping children. And I was telling her about all the projects that I've done over the years since I was like 13. And then I was telling her about this project that I'm working on now, and it was some old thing that I was doing. And she was like, that doesn't sound very much like something you'd be passionate about doing. I feel like you're changing what you enjoy, which is just helping teenagers. Like, you're not really focused on helping, you don't really care about helping the adults. Like, you want to help young people. And I was like, yeah, like, wait, yes. And I think in that little moment, as I told her about what I was doing, she was able to see it from an outsider's perspective, like the common theme. And she called it the red string, which I think is really interesting, that she saw like the red string that basically tied all these different projects that seem unrelated. You know, like how does selling clothes versus having like a meme page versus having a podcast and now having like this production company, how does that all tie together? Is that each of those has been just a way to comfort people, whether it's by giving them a sense of community, allowing them to feel seen or heard, or just less alone through hearing us. It's all under that same umbrella of helping young people feel less alone. And I think ever since that conversation, it just made me very aware of that is what I want to do. And I think it's daunting for a lot of people when they think about happiness and finding purpose, because it's like you don't even know where to begin. It's like, am I going to find happiness by going on this walk? Am I going to find happiness by working on this? Like, you have to know like why you are doing it. And ultimately for me, after that realization, I really just thought about it as, well then if I just keep following this passion, it doesn't matter if I'm 20, 30, 60, 70 years old. I think I will always find my way back to happiness if I live a life with meaning and purpose. And that just kind of begins by following that North Star, that purpose, and whatever way that looks like at the time.
And going back to the whole, like, you know, why are you doing this? Why are you, you know, just doing the things that you do? I remember one time you said that you do a lot of things out of spite as well. So like, how does that?
Oh, shit. Well, I do things out of spite. Don't we
Don't
all?
want to put you on the spot, but
No, I was journaling about that the other time. I was like, I feel like a lot of what I do is out of self-hatred. You know, like all of this change, all of these things and projects that I work on, a lot of times it's out of like this just hatred for some aspect of my life or in myself or trait that I want to change so badly.
And what does that, like, what are those? Or if it's not personal?
I think it just means not instead of saying, look, I'm going to go to the gym because I love my body and this is good for me, that would be approaching it with love, you know? Instead, I feel like I see it as, I'm going to go to the gym because I hate my body and I don't like myself. That's like doing it out of hate, self-hatred. And I have friends that I think do things out of love, of this is good for me, I like this, I'm going to respect myself, so that's why I'm doing this. And that's just a really helpful way to think about it. And so I'm trying to lean more towards that. But I just feel like scared to do so because I'm like, well, if I do things out of love, then why would I want to change if I love myself? So it's hard.
Do you think you'd lose like some form of motivation or like?
I think so. Okay. I think a little bit is about motivation, that like, oh, if I, you know, if it's kind of like, I don't want to change anything about myself because I love myself, then how am I going to find the motivation to change? And that's why I mean, like, I guess for people, it should be out of love. Like, you find the motivation to change because you love yourself. And just because you're happy with how you are doesn't mean you have to stop growing.
Well, I have an easy question for you now.
What?
Do you love yourself?
Do I love myself? Damn.
Can you not love yourself and be happy at the same time?
Can you not love yourself and still be happy? Oh. I don't think so. I feel like if I'm happy, I love myself. If I'm not happy, I don't love myself. And it fluctuates. I've had moments, you know, even recently, just a couple weeks ago, I remember I just wasn't feeling good physically, mentally, and I was like, I hate that I feel like this. I don't feel good. There's things I want to change everything. Nothing feels right. My body just doesn't feel aligned with myself. And then coincidentally, just a couple weeks later, I'm like, I feel really good. Like, things are great. I feel like my body's aligned with my soul. I'm happy. I'm good. What else could I ask for? So it changes. I think it definitely does change. Yeah. Why? Are you? Do you love yourself?
I think for the most part, I do love myself. I do. I mean, obviously, it's like ebbs and flows, just like most things. But I think definitely over like the past year, I'd say more specifically like the past year, I've felt a lot more comfortable with myself. And obviously, I mean, this week alone, I just have not been happy with, like how I've been looking. But looking at the bigger picture, I have just been feeling more comfortable with myself. And, I read this one like quote, I forgot which book it was, but it says something along the lines of growing older is the process of becoming who you were meant to be. And I don't know why, but when I read that, I was like, wow. Like mind shift. I was like, wow, that is so crazy, because I think that's what I've been feeling. And also I'm 21. So I'm not saying that I have unlocked all aspects of my life, because I most definitely have not. But I think even at 21 compared to like 16, I feel so much more content and comfortable with myself and knowing like what I'm pursuing. And obviously there's still so many unknowns, but it just makes me feel a sense of excitement for growing older, because I think once you grow older, you don't have as many worries or concerns, or like you don't really care about what people think anymore,
Oh, we got to talk to some older people about that, because I honestly do want to know.
Exactly. And like I read a book about happiness and like how older people view happiness and whatnot. And so it just made me feel a lot more secure and not as scared about growing older. I think a lot of the times people view it as, oh, you're getting washed up, or like, oh, your life is gone. Like, oh, once you have kids, like
you can't live anymore.
You can't live anymore. But I'm so excited to just get to know myself more, and going back to that, or like going to that point of getting to know yourself more, it makes me think of, purpose. Like, what is your purpose and whatnot? And I think a lot of the times when I hear that, it immediately just makes me feel constricted of like, oh, if I say this is my purpose, like I can't go outside of that. And I know that's not real, and it's just like in my head. So I feel like most recently how I view purpose is just this evolving meaning based on the time in my life, like the time period in my life, which I'm sure that'll change, because maybe purpose is supposed to be consistent. But when I think of it as like, this purpose is for the rest of my life, it just like, it scares me.
Oh, that's really, okay, that's really interesting. I need to pee.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, fuck.